Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. Today we are with our friend George. He is a fellow astrologer, and we're going to be talking about the thing that we love the most.
It's about time. We talk about astrology all day long, and I can tell you're on the same exact level and breakdowns of astrology as us, and they're really good. We need to get this out there. It's amazing, and it's very accurate.
Yeah, I love your posts. They're like, when I see them, I'm just like, ooh, that's interesting.
They're right on. We got the same mental radio station receiver with the astrological.
Mhm.
I like it. Yep. So let's
Yeah,
talk
exactly.
about some
That is
good
also
stuff.
what I felt. Yeah, like when I first was introduced to you and I was looking at your post, I was like, this is interesting. Like you're thinking what I'm thinking when I saw that you made a post about narcissism, and it was about Uranus and placements when narcissism could be indicated in the chart. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is exactly what I found as well. But I didn't know anybody else was talking about it, so it was new to me. So I was like, like this, there was already a resonance. Like the first time I even looked at your stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
Uranus
remember that.
Uranus can bring a bit of arrogance if you're not careful because it's so mental and they just get caught in their own mind. And Uranus is like a giant souped up Mercury. That's how I'm thinking of it. And Mercury it's kind of like would you say it's your ego identity, the ego of your mind?
It's the machine, right? It's a computer. And the computer is ego-based. It's a mind-based. It's a tool. So the tool, of course, is kind of soulless. So it can indicate like a soullessness in the way a person behaves if it's very strongly placed, unless they are aware of it and they go the opposite direction. And this is where Mercury's duality really comes in, right? Like you have to be the opposite of what you intuitively feel like doing to stop yourself from being a robot.
It's consciousness.
Yeah.
Awake every second.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're talking about, that's actually why we made this little podcast meeting about psychic vampirism.
Yeah.
Like, how does this actually relate to astrology? And, how did you get actually into this topic? Like, what's your angle on the subject? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
With the narcissism or astrology?
Astrology.
Yeah, maybe both.
Okay, well, astrology goes back to Santo Bonacci, 2012, probably more like 2013. Watched all the videos, took all the notes, really into it. And entheogens helped me connect to the truth of how it works. It goes back there, and I've been studying daily since. Like, I really wanted to take medical astrology really far because I still don't see people talking about it. How each sign is a biological system. There's 12 signs, 12 biological systems. Aries is the nervous system and cerebral spinal nervous system. Taurus is the endocrine system. And these people have features and significance with their system. Capricorn's a skeletal system. They love bones. They break their bones or they have strong bones. It's always a strong significance. There's 12 for 12, and then there's a mineral that rebuilds each system. Guy in the 1800s figured that out. Aries is potassium phosphate that forms the nervous system fluid. There happens to be 12 of these salts. They fit for the 12 signs. And, I'm just really amazed by all of it. I love the medical stuff. And then, how not to get into narcissism. Well, everybody has narcissistic traits. It's just the collective mind right now. Some people have more than others, and you can't not get into it if you're conscious and live in a world with these people and into astrology like we are. And yeah, and you're kind of the master at figuring out that the narcissistic traits in the chart, and we get into it a little bit, but it's definitely Uranus, and then I think you said a little Neptune too, which is like the liar manipulator. Not saying no offense to anyone, by the way.
Yeah.
We all have the traits, and it's basically just a hurt person, and it's a coping mechanism to build yourself up because you have a low self-esteem, right?
Yeah, like Neptune drains you. It kind of It's like the garbage deposit, but also where you treat it like garbage. So you see yourself as garbage if you have it like on the ascendant over sun unconsciously. And then you have a tendency to flip it, like black and white thinking, either the ideal or the bottom of the consciousness. And you flip between these. So this is where narcissism can actually come in, because the shame-based, pride-based defense to kind of create some stability, some anchor to hold on to an image. And Neptune has the imagination to make that image a reality, to convince yourself that the image is real, because you can feel the archetypal frequency when you tap into Neptune of whatever it is that you're touching. You can be anything. There's nothing you cannot be. This is why it's so difficult. It's like a spectrum of a rainbow, and you can get all the different colors, right? This is why you have Pisces. It's like the last sign. So you've been through all the signs, so you can understand all of them. You can tap into all of them, but this creates a burden to the mind, because the mind needs things to be simple. So the complexity when Neptune kind of takes you out of the body is because you can't handle the information that you're receiving. It's like information overload. So then the mind is trying to create these defenses to mitigate the sensitivity. Yeah, like especially if you're completely open up, there's no boundaries. So there's no sense of identity. The identity is being dissolved. You're kind of being trashed. So you're being drained. You're being transformed, shape-shifted into something that is empty. And this emptiness, it looks towards the unknown, like how Neptune looks away from the sun, looks into the far, far reaches where nobody has been before. So there's no real groundedness. This is where it can kind of go off, like a wanderer, like spiraling out of control. Mm-hmm. And now today we have this Neptune-Mercury conjunction, and we had some technical issues before we did this call. Like we couldn't set it up properly at first, when the microphone wasn't working right. And microphone, video recordings, that's Neptune territory, right? Mm-hmm. It rules Hollywood, so it rules all recordings of any kind. So even if we're making a video today about it, well, I guess this is when Mercury comes in, because in a conjunction. Like, how does this work? Maybe Neptune is influencing the technology, the communication, the working, the thinking. So we're talking about Neptune. So then we're going to talk about whatever is connected to Neptune as well. And that is narcissism on top of that. And psychic vampirism was actually how we introduced this, right? This is what we want to talk about originally. But psychic vampirism means somebody drains your energy. Water is drained from the pipes, like your lymphatic system, like the mucus in your body. If your body is trying to defend itself, protect itself, it becomes rigid, it solidifies, crystallizes, calcifies the tissues to try to prevent somebody from coming in, from connecting to you. Because the only connection you've ever known, if you're a narcissist, for example, is where somebody drains you, somebody controls you. So this is where a narcissist builds a wall around the heart to prevent the other person from taking the tentacle and putting it into your stomach, into the root chakra. It's taking your energy, controlling your mind. So this mind control is what the narcissist originally wants to defend himself against. But through the very same things that he uses to defend himself, he gets the victim of mind control. So his mind is controlled actually by the external all the time. And that's the only place he can actually get it from. So he has to use his sensitivity to suck your mind, to take over your mind like a parasite, and put his unconscious mind, his baggage, his garbage, his Neptune into you.
Yeah. That's so well said. Yeah.
It's very Neptunian because Neptune is fog and smoke, and they can take the form of anything. That's just a thought that I had first when you were saying.
Yeah. I had a long experience with a Neptune, a Pisces, double Gemini Pisces, and I didn't know. I was young. I met him when we were in high school, and I was just naive. And we were together 20 years, and now I'm starting to realize like what was really going on. And yeah.
Very heavy mutable energy. Yeah, that's something you had. Double Gemini Pisces?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
That seems
so again, Mercury, Neptune.
With the air is the arrogance, and the Neptune is lying to himself.
Yeah.
I'm the best. I'm the best there ever was. I'm made from the finest of earth.
The finest of the cloth. But then I also have Narcissist, the asteroid, in Pisces in my 7th house. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Narcissus is an asteroid as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Mhm.
It's not really reliable, of course, sometimes, like you can be a narcissist, but then it's not aspected. But it is an indicator. So it can show maybe narcissist itself as the thing about you have to look at yourself. You are getting obsessed with your self-image, like something like that. So in the seventh house, maybe you could say, the seventh house is like the shadow. So it could be a part of you that is also wanting to be seen, like wanting to control how you're being perceived.
Oh yeah.
But then because you're kind of feeling ashamed about that, you don't want to become obsessed with yourself because somebody told you that it's a bad thing. So then it's going to come from the outside. And this is kind of how the seventh house works,
Oh my
just like
God.
an example. Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, he built my ego up so much. And I was like, oh yeah, more of that. But yeah.
The parasitic entanglement. So like the vampire, he gives you some of his blood, and then you become his vassal. So he controls you through the sustenance that he gives you, but it's only like breadcrumbing, like a manipulation. So it's not really the sustenance you need.
No.
But he kind of convinces you that you need that. There's a part of you that's kind of craving it, gets addicted to it, like a substance use.
Yep.
And this is a big thing, with psychic vampirism. Like usually when people encounter, and we don't have to be a narcissist to be, by the way, a psychic vampire or engage in that kind of thing. Like, for example, everybody can actually engage in some form of vampirism. Like sometimes, actually, when I looked into this, I felt like the message that I got was that the vampirism itself, where somebody takes energy from you, was created originally to protect yourself against somebody taking energy from you. It's just like a defense mechanism, like you feel somebody's draining you, you're tired, and you want to take back what was lost, what was taken away from you. And you could say psychic vampire is maybe somebody who was drained, who was starved of energy so much, but now they've become stuck in the cycle. I have to take it back. I have to take it back. So any person the person encounters, it can't help itself. It's like a compulsion, right? That is what it's really about. It's a compulsion in the psyche. So we want to take something that only somebody else has. We want their light. We want their consciousness. We want to feel like we are valued, we are worthy through the attention that they give us. Yeah. But of course, it's like surface level, it's kind of a deep topic. I sometimes talk about it in my posts. I talk about avoidant attachment style and narcissism. Kind of is like, how there's cluster B. And on cluster B, you have narcissism, you have BPD, you have Machiavellism and these other things like the Dart, Tetra, blah, blah, blah. But avoidance also is a shame-based thing. So in order to avoid yourself, to run away from yourself, to avoid, well, you have to hate yourself. You have to get so much self-hatred, so much anxiety, so much fear that the nervous system goes into a little shock or shutdown, where you can no longer look at yourself and you have to run away. And because you're empty, you're avoidant. So the void is a black hole. It needs to take its energy from somewhere.
Yeah.
So they're real vampires then. They reel you in with, I have this, I have the best thing ever, I got the best thing to show you, I got secrets that nobody knows. And then they try to get your full attention, right? Is that what they do?
Yeah, they want you to become dopamine addicts. They're giving you dopamine because they're addicted to your dopamine, and they feel unworthy. They feel they're not good enough if they can't make you addicted to them.
Yeah, and then they hold a carrot in front of your face the whole time. I got the best thing ever for you to show. If you just wait right here, I got the best thing ever for you.
Yeah.
Maybe what's interesting is to talk about where this originates from.
Yeah.
From our need for validation, from our need to be valued, right? If we're not providing some kind of value, nobody's going to care about us. They're going to leave us. So the more fear we have of others leaving us, the more our nervous system gets into this anxiety. We need to provide value so badly. So then eventually you get to a threshold You get so much anxiety that your brain just shuts down and you're not even aware that you're actually pushing the other person away.
Oh, yeah.
And this creates the shame because it's a shame cycle. First is the pride. Look at me, right? Look at what I got. I'm prideful. I'm good enough. See?
Mhm.
Or like Luciferianism, for example. Like Hollywood, you go into the head, which is Neptune, and you're like, ideal. I'm ideal, right? See? And if I'm not, then you will leave and I will lose your attention. And then I'm going to have to face the void within. The moment you look away, the moment you stop listening to me, I am a void. And I can't take that. So it is all about the compulsion to not look at yourself.
The
If
distraction.
that can be overcome. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of these types of people are just looking for the next distraction too. So they can't. So then they are just distracted and don't have any time essentially to look at themselves.
It's a form of escapism, which
Escapism,
brings
yeah.
it back to the Piscean trait.
Mhm. The two fishes. So one looks away from the other fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't want to
Unconscious.
face it head on, right? They're like swimming around it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Golly, I would think the Hollywood actors would be the king of all narcissists, wouldn't they? Like to be so pompous to, I'm on film of this cover. Look at me. All cameras are pointing at me at this moment. Perhaps the majority of them.
Yeah, it can become an addiction. Yes.
Yeah.
The fame.
Right.
So Neptune is connected to fame as well,
Okay.
because it shows you, well, you're able to pull others into your world, into your fantasy.
Yeah.
That means the fantasy is pretty convincing.
It is so fantasy based. All these narcissists. I'm thinking of 3 right now, and it's like this big fantasy trying to sell you.
Or convince you that what I have to offer is amazing.
And then it
Yeah.
never.
So how does it work with Neptune being in Aries now? Like, how do you think is going to change things?
I really hope it's good, because it ended its cycle. It ended the last sign where it's out of rulership. You notice people with Mars and Aries, they're extra Marsy, almost too Marsy, especially if they're unconscious. Well, just think Pisces ruling and Neptune. It's too Piscean. And then now it's getting birthed by the baby lamb, 0.000 of the whole ecliptic. It's getting a fresh start. It's getting, but then also it's in Aries is your head. Now you got Neptune in your head.
Oh, God.
It's the conundrum.
Yeah, and then it's like this fiery drive too. So it's like but then Neptune's like watery. So is it putting out that passion and drive of Aries a little bit?
It's a weird setup, yeah. Like some people say, "Oh yeah, the new era is going to be great." I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
I will say, as soon as it went in, I felt an extra surge of rushing around everywhere, anger, impatience, driving faster. And I'm like, wow, Neptune has an influence.
Sun was in there too, but
it went right when it went in,
yeah.
I could tell I was driving way too fast all the time. And I was thinking Neptune has more of a force than you would think. It's not really just that fog. It's the freaking, you see the ocean waves, they're massive, 80 feet. Neptune can be a force. And that's why Neptune and Pisces people can actually be really violent too. The water, the ocean, think how violent the ocean is. It's dangerously violent.
And then like Poseidon is the ruler, like, one of the gods, and poison, like Poseidon is poison, toxicity.
That's violent.
Yeah.
And then he's got that freaking pitchfork. It's a weapon.
Something just came to me, like with Aries being the head, not necessarily the brain, but it is the
Yeah, the cerebrum.
Cerebrum, yeah. So people are going to be becoming more aware, and it has been, of toxins and poisons in the environment. Like that's a huge topic right now. And then like the parasites.
I've been seeing a lot of parasites in the brain posts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as well. There was a lot of talk about the fog. I think it started around November, September or something last year. That was just around the time that Mars started to get into Cancer before it turned retrograde. That's when it really started to become a huge topic. And I was thinking, okay, you're saying it's the fog, but I just feel like it's more subtle than that, because it's about survival patterns being triggered, a defensiveness in the body. The body is overreacting. So I'm hypersensitive to something that is actually irrelevant. It doesn't matter, but we're reacting to it. We're really defensive. We're like, oh my God, it's going to destroy us. This is a catastrophe, this disaster. And then meanwhile, this is like nothing.
Yeah.
It's a fluke.
You're talking about that fog down in Florida, right? And the other.
Yes.
Yeah. Just recently, like 2 days ago, someone messaged me something in regards, I can't remember what they called it, but there is some sort of parasite thing in that they tested, and it was in the fog.
Yes, that's what I heard as well. I saw that too.
Yeah.
Scary, because basically, we don't know what is going on in the sky. We have no knowledge. We have no way to really look into it or anything.
Yeah. It's like the air is one of the things that's hardest to control. Like you can kind of control what you're eating. Like you can make a choice if you want to like grow your own food, make as many organic choices as possible. You can change your water, you can drink distilled water, hydrogenate it. But the air, unless you go around with like a mask on, like an actual like mask that's going to filter out parasites or whatever and heavy metals, there's really no way to avoid
that. There's
no
no defense against the hidden enemy.
Yeah.
And you breathe 3,500 gallons per day. You consume more air than anything. The air has more influence on the compounds in your blood than anything.
Right, because you're constantly breathing. You're not constantly drinking. You're not constantly eating.
You could do a live blood analysis and change what you breathe in each breath. They would show your blood changing dramatically with each breath in. It just infuses your blood instantly. Yeah,
it's a scary thing with Neptune. It brings in the paranoia and the fear, and then forces you to spiritualize it, to find a way to transcend it, to not care about it. And this is difficult because this can be either procrastination or just complete like detachment, not caring, like dissociating from reality. Or it can become something that is heavily fought through alchemy. So an inner process that takes place for a long time. And then one day we wake up and you're like, you know what? I just don't care anymore. I had enough of this. When it kind of burns itself out, like you have to go through the spiral a few times. You have to allow your mind to go through the spirals, to go through the chaos. And many people actually struggle with that. They don't want to go into the chaos. So then they get stuck in the chaos. They actually never come out of it because they're dissociating instead of just going through it for a time and then it's done.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, and then they sprayed that fog at every disease plague in history. There was a fog, and there's like this book that wrote about every single plague, even including the Black Plague. There's like a dozen of them or something. They all had a fog, so it's always Neptune bringing in the diseases, and yeah. So
that's why it's so incredibly important to like do these parasite protocols, do these detoxes, and we don't have to be afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm aware. And then I know the things that I can do to better myself.
Yeah, we're just aware one step ahead. It's like we're telling people before they knew to change the oil on their car. It's like, no, you got to change the oil. It's going to break down the oil and it's going to cause engine damage. Oh, I'm not afraid of that. You know, you don't need to make us afraid of that. You're putting fear on my automobile.
Fearmonger.
Yeah, that's not what it is. It's never what anything has been, what we've been teaching for, and only the people with very low understanding of everything do bring up that we're coming from a fear state. But, it's not. It's
like an empowerment state. It's like, okay, now we know this information. What are we going to do about it? Sit with it, do nothing? No, obviously we're not going to do that. We're going to learn what we can do to, make things better.
Mm-hmm. This kind of reminds me back of what Neptune is actually about. Like when it goes into the sign for the first time into Aries, still kind of like the baby energy of that sign, still at the beginning. So astrology shows you the cycles. So at the beginning of the sign is going to be the most impulsive energy, the most instinctive, the most, you could say, maybe ego-based version of that, at least more susceptible to that. So it means if Aries is about conflict and Neptune is about escape or avoidance, well, avoiding conflict at the beginning of this transit. While most people said the opposite. Most people said, oh, Neptune and Aries now we're going to go off. Really? Are you sure? Is that what it means? I'm not sure. Of course, I don't know for certain because I never experienced Neptune and Aries transit in my life, I think. So now that it's there, I'm thinking, what am I actually feeling? Like, what am I actually seeing in real time? Because of all of these other trends, like Mars having been in Cancer for so long, I've been seeing eggshells. I've been seeing people walking around the bushes, being like, oh, let's not upset them. What's going to happen? Like super defensive, like you say, like where you think paranoia comes in, of retaliation. And this is actually one of the reasons maybe why Saturn is in foil in that sign as well. Because if you put Saturn, it's another malefic, it's another negative planet, you could say, into Aries, so then the person is afraid of conflict. They have maybe anger issues, afraid of their own anger, afraid of personality, afraid of retaliation, afraid of separation. And Neptune says, well, the planet of unification in the sign of separation, oh, let's not separate, we're unifying, that's what we're about. What are we doing here? So yeah, it is questionable sometimes. Of course, I don't want to be negative or anything, but kind of like how my brain works. For some reason, as much as I got into astrology, the more I got into it, like most of what we see is very dark. The majority of people, like maybe even, if you talk to people one-on-one and they tell you their life story, they tell you their life problems, you see a lot of suffering, you see a lot of unresolved issues on this planet, a lot of just, I don't know, I guess I just survive now. Guess we're surviving this one and this one. So a lot of planets, a lot of alignments, a lot of the time, just because of the state of a planet, are going to be more likely to operate in their shadow. And what about the people like, I don't know, like maybe you, maybe me, maybe people who are watching this video, are they more evolved? And when they are more evolved, how is that going to affect them? Because the problem is, even if you're really evolved, you're still part of the collective unconscious. You're still a drop of the ocean. So somehow you're still going to be connected to what everybody else is going through. And if most people are not doing the work, then maybe some events will come to you, some triggers will come to you, and you're like, wait a second, I thought I was over this. Why am I having to deal with this again? But this is not my problem. I'm over this. I'm better with this. I should,
Yeah, something I struggle with is like I've known a lot of things for so long that there was a point where I was just like, I don't even care to share this with other people. But recently, I don't know what transit it is, but recently I've just been like going at it, like all these like controversial posts. And what I struggle with is like when people come into the comments and I guess I don't know how to say it, like basically just disagree with me. Like, do I take that bait and like have a discussion with them? or just, okay, I'm not dealing with that? Because it feels almost like a vampirism. Like if I do take the bait and then I'm in this conversation and it's like exhausting and my adrenaline gets going and.
That is Neptune and Aries as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm encountering a conflict that I don't like. I'm like, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
This conflict is useless. This is garbage level conflict, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to go into it because now I'm hypersensitive to this kind of stuff. I'm not tolerating it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a boundary. Like I want to set that boundary with myself.
I feel exactly the same. It's strange, you know, that you mention it.
Yeah.
Literally, I have exactly the same thing going on.
But then I don't want to, like with the whole like free speech thing, because I had someone come at me with that. Like, well, it's free speech, but then I'm like, well, this is my page and I don't really want to allow your like nastiness.
Ignorance, arrogance, lack of.
But anyways, knowledge. Yeah, it is totally Neptune and Aries because it just started like within the last month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't really have this issue too much before. Like when Neptune was in Pisces, I was like, yeah, another argument. More, you know, fuel for the algorithm. But now I'm like, I don't care about the algorithm. Go away. Why should I be talking to you? What is this?
It's kind of
we care more about the mental health now.
Yeah. Just had a thought. It's kind of interesting how Pisces is hidden enemies, and then it shifts right to the next sign. You can almost say Aries is just plain and simple enemies because it's a war sign. But for sure, Pisces is hidden enemies, and Neptune went out of that. That's kind of cool. So now but then to go out of that, it's not like your hidden enemies are going to go away. They're just no longer going to be hidden.
Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, for sure.
For the collective, I block like 4 people a day. I must have blocked like 500 people. I don't know.
Yeah, because somebody like you know, you bring your own individual thinking, your own critical thinking. Like that's what I really like about you, because you just make your own observations and you don't care if there's any other information out there that's confirming it or not. You just have seen it for yourself. That's all you need. You trust yourself. So then somebody who doesn't trust themselves comes along from the hive mind representing the group. Hey, you're not with us. Yeah. Who are you? Why are you exile? Why are you outcast? Why you I don't know, the prodigy? You think you're the mastermind? You think you figured it out?
Yeah, you're exactly on. Yeah.
So they think you're the arrogant one. You're the Lucifer. You know, like you bring destabilizing our structure now.
Yeah.
Our tradition.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you have a public opinion?
That's different from the hive mind.
That's different from the agreed upon narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who stamped you? Where is your confirmation? Like, where is your what do you call it? Good noodle star.
I don't know, like proof or what? What is that?
Yeah, like they need proof, right? So this is what the mind needs. The ego needs proof.
Yeah.
But the heart is just knows, okay, this is resonating. This makes sense. So when somebody's disconnected from the heart, they always mind. But when you tell them whatever you want, you give them the best explanations, it doesn't matter, because the mind is a monkey, you know, it's a computer, so it's going in circuits.
They only ask for proof for something else to disagree with, to try and even discredit your stance.
Like, yes, I'm a trickster now.
Send me proof.
That's siphoning your energy.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot. We got to get into that, because there's a whole lot of that, and I think it's unconscious. People are truly they throw out a bait with a hook on it, Pisces fishing, and they literally then that bait with the hook, that string is a stream of energy. You hooked in, now you get a stream of energy, and there's that one hook, and it's on a trigger spot, a little weak spot in your pancreas. I don't know. They hooked you somewhere. It got your full attention because it hurts. And I got you hooked. You can't unhook it. And the more you go, And the more you go, and you got a stream of energy,
The more you go back and forth.
the more you go back and forth, the more that stream grows with memories and
then they pull from you through that stream.
and then like little parasites, they know how to, as it's going, oh yeah, got a pathway carved here. All right, throw another hook with another thing I know you'll respond to, and then they throw more hooks, and then there's hooks all over.
The octopus entity. It's kind of like that. It reminds me of this full moon in Virgo, where it was like 2 months ago or something. It was conjunction the lunar eclipse, conjunction Leviathan, the asteroid. It's exact conjunction, you know. On the south node was Leviathan with the moon on the lunar eclipse in Virgo.
Yep.
And Virgo is the mind, the Mercury, the communication. So this is where the hooks come in. And it's still conjunction with the south node, I think.
Yeah.
At least last time I checked. So Leviathan has been a theme. It must be a theme maybe for the next 4 or 5 months, as long as we're in eclipse season, because it was exact conjunction with the start of the eclipse season. Period.
And
So
what was
Leviathan
it?
would be a theme, yeah.
It was conjunct a fixed star.
It was connection the moon and the south node at the same time in Virgo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
In Virgo, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
last one there. South node. Oh yeah, and you're thinking that's some sort of negative aspect with communication because Virgo's a double Mercury sign.
I actually often associate Mercury and Virgo with the octopus, because the mind looks out into all directions, tries to control like a controller. Let me control their perception of me. Let me control this, control that. He's always looking for threats to discern, to judge, to eliminate.
Yeah, all the details too. Like each tentacle is like that detail, this detail.
We could even talk about entities, you know, how it's connected to astrology signs and stuff like that.
Yeah, what do you think is one?
Yeah, like the octopus is actually connected to Mercury. That's actually what I've seen, because I've talked to a lot of people who have strong Mercury placements. And sometimes when I go into deep work with them and I ask them, you know, what do you see when you imagine what this is? You know, this part of you, this part that is exiled, that's lost, that's outcast, that you don't want to deal with. And they straight up tell me it's an octopus that they see. And they don't know anything about octopuses when they tell me that.
Wow.
And then that is kind of how I got into it. I also got, you know, sometimes visions, which is more like the woo stuff. Like, you know, I actually get visions sometimes when I work with people, when I talk to them. And then I can see, you know, like a sentinel in the matrix. Because a sentinel is trying to get your attention, trying to persuade you or, to get energy from you, to mislead you. And you know how the matrix uses an EMP to shut down the sentinels? An electromagnetic pulse device. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And then octopus, they're like very intelligent too. They have a lot of smarts. So that's
Yes, exactly.
as well. Yeah.
And it can also be different, you know, because even when we talk about entities or something dark, like a shadow or something, there has to be also an opposite, which is like a good or a higher expression of that archetype. An octopus can also be the wrath of the mother, trying to take back what is lost. We talked about earlier about psychic vampirism being actually a defense mechanism. So it tries to get back to the mother, it tries to hook in again. So it tries to bond with you, tries to create an enmeshment with you, and which is a parasitic entanglement. But it's like a baby. It just wants your love. But because it is not honest about the love, becomes in the shadow of the octopus then. But if it was honest, it could use those octopus tentacles to maybe change your mind, maybe influence you in a positive way, give you the right information, communicate. And that's something a lot of avoidance struggle with, a lot of narcissists struggle with. So there's communication problems there with these people. You know how people say, oh, they withdraw, they ghost me. Why aren't they talking to me? Because the octopus is in charge, baby. That's exactly what's happening. The octopus has taken charge of whatever they're trying to avoid telling you. They're withholding information because they know, now I got this information. You want it, right? You want it? I got you. There's a bait. Information warfare.
Yeah, octopus might have to do with the Virgo Pisces axis too, because it's an ocean creature. Yeah, which always the one sign goes with the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it makes me wonder if there's like a parasite, if you were to put it under a microscope, like all the parasites, if there's one that actually looks like an octopus, and that is the actual physical thing within you. I mean, you have the octopus entity, but then I wonder if it has like a physical
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder as well. I don't know.
I've been thinking that too, somewhat. Each sign has to have its own certain type of parasites. Like Scorpio will get a certain type of parasite.
Probably like a genitalia parasite.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah, and then isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah.
It's all super connected to physical, spiritual. And then
what do you think about Cancer?
I was just thinking like they're probably like crabs. Like if someone has crabs.
They get
like a crab parasite?
Yeah, it's like some sort of
it's a genital one. That might be Scorpio, but maybe both.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Cancer would get nematodes because nematodes has to do with the lymphatic system, and Cancer rules the lymphatic system. So they would have nematode worms.
What sort of parasite do you think affects the thyroid for Taurus?
Jeez, yeah, we got to learn all about these.
Yeah.
Well, Taurus would have liver flukes because Taurus is the liver.
Yeah.
Virgos, they bald.
Oh, so there's like is the fungus, like perhaps that it's dandruff. That's what people call it, but there's a
like eczema on the head.
Yeah, well, they get, and
yeah.
then there's a mite in the hair too called Domodex follicum.
Yes, that's what
they would have that one, and then
sense.
Yeah, and then, well, then of course they would have an intestinal one too because Virgo rules the intestines. They would have Candida and like all the intestinal worms.
Yeah. There's also certain animals, like predator animals, connected to signs as well. Like with a mother, the dark mother would be the spider.
The spider.
Cancer. The spider, actually, because the spider is in your house, it eats the invaders.
Yeah.
Defends your home, actually.
That's
why it is actually good to leave the spider alive. The spider is going to make spider webs.
Yeah.
To get you caught in the spider web, caught in the machinations of the mind, where you get trapped in your attachments for your need for security. So now you're in the spider's web.
I used to be deathly afraid of spiders as a child and through like my teens. And then when I had children of my own, I didn't want to pass that on to them, that fear of spiders. So I made it a very, like I just worked through it and I didn't show my fear through spiders. I would instead, just collect myself, breathe, and then have someone catch it and put it outside. And then eventually I was able to catch them and put them outside. If they were big, I'd leave like the little guys, but if they were like anything bigger than that, they were out. But I'd never kill them. So that's just interesting, like how my bringing children into this world then like connected myself to that. I don't want to have fear of spiders and that motherhood.
Because the mother is the dark mother.
Yeah.
Like the widowmaker spider.
Yeah.
Because connected to the black moon Lilith. Who eats her children. The widowmaker spider eats her children in some cases. So it is like Lilith devouring her demonic children in the story. It's connected to abortion and miscarriage and stuff like that. It's connected to when the child gets lost. So there is a loss of the maternal traits. It becomes engulfing or enwebbing and meshing. Becomes something that traps you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And then let's see. What's another animal for I know birds has to do with Pisces.
Hmm.
Hmm. Birds.
Yeah.
So like an evil bird.
Huh?
It's like an evil bird, like a predator bird.
Well, I think the predator birds are Scorpio, like the eagle,
Mhm.
but like little
I have a
birds are
condor,
Pisces. Yeah.
or
Yeah,
this
maybe.
one that eats the corpses also,
Mhm. Yeah.
like a vulture. Yes, this
The
is it,
vulture.
vulture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it's sadism. It eats from the dead, eats from your baggage. It likes your shadow.
Yeah.
It feeds on what you're trying to repress. So it's like, I know what you're hiding. Give it to me. It's festering. It's metastasizing. It's rotting. So it eats that which weakens you, which is already corrupting you.
Mm-hmm.
Or hyena, like with a dog,
Mm-hmm.
which is also cancer animal. Hyena also eats from the dead and also has problems with giving children, with pregnancy. They have a lot of issues actually giving birth. Like they often they get stuck or something and they die from it.
Huh. Cancers.
Yeah, because
Cancer is connected to the dog, so
cancer's
it's
Yeah.
the
connected to
canine.
hyena. Anubis,
Canine.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it's also connected to a deity. You know, Anubis is the god of the dead who rides to mummify. So he takes your mummy and then guides it against the demonic entities. So
Huh.
it guards your tomb, guards your bones, guards what you've been carrying, the baggage. And then it shows you the baggage and then it judges you for it. So if you
Mhm.
carry too much baggage, then you get eaten by the crocodile.
Huh.
Mummy
So
and
deity.
mummy.
Yeah.
Mommy and mommy, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Huh. I
There's
was
also
reading.
other animals like Virgo is also a fox. So the fox is also cunning, it's deceptive, it's a liar, it's a schemer, it's a trickster.
Mhm.
So Virgo can, in its shadow, really be a huge liar. They can be the best liars. You will never know that they're lying to you because
Who's
they
the
all got the
fox?
perfect image, right?
Who's the
The fox,
fox?
the Virgo,
Virgo. Okay. Yeah.
like
Mhm.
the details, waiting, preparation for the hunt, for the trap.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're the
So
best
very
at
patient.
sleight of hand.
Mm. Yeah.
Because yeah, it rules the hands, right? So this is why the fox has black hands. The gloves, those are gloves.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also good animals like Cancer has the shepherd. The shepherd guides the sheep. Our Anubis guides you against the demons, so you don't get eaten by the demons, by the wolf, by the narcissist. This is
Who's
why
the
a
shepherd?
narcissist alpha, Sam Vaknin, has a Cancer rising, Cancer moon.
Okay. Huh.
Best-selling author for narcissism. So knows the most stuff, is the most popular, has that Anubis energy, has that Anubis star, Sirius, the dog star, on his ascendant as well.
Who is this? I missed it.
Sam Vaknin,
Okay.
this professor, he made the book Malignant Narcissism Revisited. So he was one of the most popular book writers for narcissism when it
Okay.
first got popular.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of him, but
So you're
Because
thinking,
the dog energy is about that, yeah.
yeah, you're thinking Cancer is very narcissistic tendency sign.
Yes, because all the mummy issues, right?
mm.
It's
Mhm.
defensive, it's your foundation, it's survival, it's instinct. Why do you have Cancer placements? Because you're thinking about survival. Why would you think about survival? Why would that even be an issue? How can the most foundational, essential parts of life be even something you're concerned with? That's what you're concerned about? That seems strange.
They can
Mm.
also be very psychologically manipulative with their emotions as well.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Cancer, extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny how it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? So yeah, the most most narcissists are the ones that trigger you and give you the bait and try to
To make you
make,
attached, to
yeah,
make you chase,
make you what? Chase
make you
it.
chase, make you
God
want
dang.
them, make you need them.
Okay, so it and is the main trait stealing your energy? Is that kind of the basis too?
Yeah. Well, it means they need you for sustenance. They need your food. They need your shelter. They need your comfort. They need your mind. They need your body. They need your soul. They need cancer. So you are the mother because you are the soul that they do not have. They are disconnected from the mother to the extreme.
And that's
So
what
this is a collective representation, right? Where we are all disconnected from the mother.
Yeah, right. Because the feminine is so distorted.
So it becomes a spider. It gets you into the web,
Yeah.
baits you, and then it keeps you in the web. It plays with you before it eats you. It likes you to be helpless. It likes you to be not able to do anything. So it wants to take over your mind, because the mind is actually cancer, but it's the mind that is conditioned, instinctual responses.
Yeah, because
So
the moon is the mind.
Yeah.
Cancer's the moon. Yeah.
The mind is the issue, right? That is why we're actually talking about this. Astrology is also the study of the mind. So there are a lot of famous astrologers have also Cancer risings. Like I've seen it a lot of Cancer placements of astrologers, because they're looking into the mirror of the self. The narcissist is obsessed with his self. You're constantly looking at yourself when you're looking at the chat. So it is quite narcissistic to look at the chat. Not really, of course, but
when I first like started studying astrology, it was just so fascinating. And I just like, I was always looking at my chart and like trying to like, learn all the things about myself. I don't look at it as much at all anymore, just transits, but yeah. It's just like, I don't know, fascinating to learn like why you are the way you are and what you came here to do. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So you can see what is influencing your mind, what's controlling your mind.
Yeah.
So you can take back control, because if you don't know what is controlling you, then you're just like a leaf blowing in the wind. Just go with the tide. And that is what Cancer is, the tides against the shore of the beach. The beach, the earth, the water is constantly trying to erode the beach, trying to control the body, trying to control the behavior, trying to control you. So if you have like, some people who have very strong Cancer placements, if they're uninvolved, it can be very, very mind controlled, but unconscious mind controlled. So there's no logic, there's no rationality in the behavior. They don't even care to be rational, really.
Right. Yeah.
No, they want to trigger. They want to say extreme things that are ridiculous. So you go, wait, what? I got to sort that out. And then they won't let you sort that out, and they'll go to the next. Then they'll go to the next. And your energy's going, and then they'll just keep doing it. And then they'll tame it. When they see you're about to separate, they'll tame it down, say something reasonable, and then weave in a couple of ridiculous statements.
The seductress.
Oh, God.
The enchantress. That is the archetype as well. Cancer is actually like, represents a woman. So it's like when the woman looks up, the woman is waiting for you to chase her.
True.
So seductress, seductive energy. The mother pulls you in to attach to her, to take care of her. So she can be the lady of the household. The man used to submit to the mother, actually, because matriarchy used to be the norm. The patriarchy was something that was unnatural, actually, because the mother, the feminine, has the intelligence, has the dexterity, has all the mental faculties belong to the mother, to the woman. And all the physical faculties, the form of the body, You know how the muscles expand the muscle, that's the man. So the man is more like a tool, you could say, like to the intellect. The intellect is actually in control of everything. So the mother is actually in control of everything. The matriarch, the queen. So Cancer is the feminine royalty. So this is why maybe there's so much issues around that. Why is that the most targeted energy? Because it's the most problematic. Most of the distortions are with Cancer, with the mother, with the feminine. The woman is actually archetypically under attack. Whether you're a woman or a man doesn't matter. The woman inside you is being under attack every single day. And of course, the man too. You know, not to forget about that. The masculine is also under attack. Everybody's under attack.
Yeah.
So Cancer we're looking at is the main one for narcissism, possibly, or the moon.
I would say so. Yeah, I think that is one of the reasons why people are very interested into the psyche, studying the mind. Of often Cancer placements connects to Isis, the goddess, which brought Osiris back to life from the dead, and Osiris became a mummy. It's an undead god. It rules over the dead. So it represents actually Pluto, but the lunar goddess, the moon, Isis, brings him back to life, puts his body back together again, the identity, the mind back together again, fixing the mind. Why do you need to fix the mind? Because you lost your mind. Because you're a lunatic, right? You're a lunatic. Isis metaphor, Osiris, is losing the mind, not the body.
Okay.
It's both. It's the same, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of some charts that are, I think, narcissistic. And they have moon in the first house. Cancer.
Oh yeah, I've seen that as well. Often moon in the first house, because the identity is associated with the moon.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I am the nurturer, or I'm the one receiving nurturing. Like all the time, it's physically obvious that this is happening. So I attract nurturing, I attract care. Like in Reichen personality structure, the oral type. It's like, give me, you know, like the oral type. It wants you to.
Okay, this is just
seductive.
This is just another like nail in the coffin with this my ex-husband, 20 years. He has moon not only in the first house, but in Gemini with Gemini rising and then that Pisces sun. So, and that's how he was. He was like, I need all of the affection, and it just pushed me away. She would say that he would go like this to her to put her cup to put his cup down. His cup to me to just put it right down right there. Put it down. Like, I don't know. Do you get that? To move it another
strange.
Just like,
what's that mean? What is that?
No idea.
That's like, take care of me, mommy. Take care of me. I got moon in the house. I got mommy complex.
First house, yeah.
It's like a king, mistress. You be the mistress. So it's very submissive energy. But then it's controlling at the same time. It's like you're a servant, but you're the mistress.
It was weird. It was a weird thing, yeah.
You're the servant, you're the mistress, both together. This is weird, yeah. This is the mother complex.
Yep, that's what it was.
And his name means the king too.
The king.
On top of all that.
Yeah, but the king, like the man wants the woman to be in control. So he doesn't have to think.
I know.
You do the thinking for me.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Like a lot of people think the intellect is associated with the feminine, but it's actually, with the masculine. We think the logic, rationality is a masculine quality, it's a feminine quality. The masculine is more about justice. So how to use the intellect, what for, to enforce it. You know, like executive function, bring them down. You know, like enforce the structure, enforce the rules.
Yeah.
But who makes the rules?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So Cancer's the main sign.
Yeah.
First sign, they also say in esoteric or something like old astrology, there's some kind of weird astrology where they say, oh yeah, Cancer is the first sign because of the birth. Actually, it starts with it, not with Aries. I've heard something. I'm not sure. I didn't check it so much.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
ways, it's logical, I guess, but I don't know much.
Yeah.
Aries too. Is that what you're saying?
The Aries is the spark.
Yeah.
So Aries is the soul coming in, like the consciousness through the eyes, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it sees, it perceives itself, identity. Identity is the first thing we create, a sense of separateness. That is how we are conscious. If we have no separateness, we are in the mud, in the, I don't know what, like, nowhere.
In the murk. Just like, where am I going? Oh.
It's very interesting when we also talk about this, how it connects to New Age, where everybody wants to be there, wants to be in the womb state. Oh, we are one, we be unified. Isn't it wonderful that you will lose your sense of self when you die? You will become one with everything. That sounds like the worst thing I could possibly imagine. What do you mean I lose myself? I don't want to lose myself. Sorry. I don't want to become one with you. Bye.
Yeah. Right.
Sounds like you literally get annihilated by that.
Yeah. So I saw a little clip of Katy Perry and the whole like space launch thing. And she was talking about that, it's like we were just all one. And I don't know if you saw that, but it was creepy.
No, I don't want to be all one, please.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Uh-huh.
The merging pattern in Reichen personality structure is actually the archetype as well. It enmeshes itself with you. It wants to bind you to its will, to one mind, the hive mind, the matrix, the Borg cube in Star Trek. You ever watch Star Trek?
Yeah. Yep.
The Borg drones. Aquarius. Oh, the age of Aquarius. Isn't it wonderful? We're all becoming equal. Yeah, you're becoming a drone. Isn't it wonderful? Absolutely, yes. The AI is taking over. The consensus, right? The globalization. The borders are blurring. The internet is connecting all of us. So we're no longer associating ourselves with a culture, which in some ways is a good thing because the culture. But we're not associating with anything at all, actually. What are we associating with? What are we identifying with? Nothing. So it is also a loss of the self, loss of the identity, the individuality, Aquarius, fall of the sun or detriment, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Dang.
Yeah.
Would you think that Aquarius males have high narcissistic qualities, perhaps?
I think so, yeah, from what I've observed. The most common thing that I hear is that they have everybody disagreeing with them and people are turning on them, but they don't know why exactly. They have a personality that is triggering negative reactions and rejection as a survival instinct. Well, my father didn't like me. My father was cold to me. I expect you will be cold to me as well. So I'm going to be cold to you. I don't care. I don't need to care. You don't need to care. We don't need to have any emotions. So it wants to be eccentric. It wants to show you the irrationality and the uselessness of trying to please the emotions. But it can easily go into the shadow where it just doesn't care at all. So then you feel like, are you not respecting me? Like, I feel bad when you say that, when you do that, you don't care? Yeah, you should feel bad. It's good for you. It will make you an adult. Saturn, old rulership.
Yeah.
The tyrant.
So, we've talked about the signs. Well, we all have the narcissistic tendencies. Some are more than others. Some signs have more narcissistic tendencies. What signs do you think are the least narcissistic?
Oh, wow. This is a good question. A positive one. So I get to say something positive once. I kind of like Aries.
Okay.
I feel like there's something about Aries makes it maybe more difficult for it to be narcissistic. You think of aggression, you think of anger. But I think of the realness, the authenticity, it is new, the beginning. The narcissist cannot be new. Narcissist cannot be courageous, like Mars.
Right.
It can't go boldly forward. It can only go blindly forward. Blind, Aries is not blind, right? It rules the eyes, it rules the eyesight. It sees things, sees you, sees itself. So I think Aries is probably, yeah, least narcissistic. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the baby. They're not. They're too naive. They're too I don't know, naive, innocent, baby, delicate. They're too inspiring. They're too inspired, and they're too sensitive.
The trauma to create the narcissist, because that's what narcissism stems from, is trauma, essentially.
To stay in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like a loyal pup. They're like a puppy dog. Puppy dog's not narcissistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The dog is a Cancer animal. We talked about it before, yeah. It's a lunar
But-
animal because it's a protector of the home. It's,
And then
it's very attached to anything it gets.
Sorry. Do you have another sign that?
Yeah, another not so narcissistic sign, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Scorpio, but Scorpio can be, psychic vampirism is an 8th house issue. It's a Pluto issue. Other people's resources. Scorpio will be very confronted with psychic vampirism, but because of its Martian nature, its transformative nature, it hates stagnation. And if you talk about stagnation and you think about Cancer, if you think about the past, you also think about Taurus. The fixed stability is trying to maintain. Stubbornness. I will not move. So you will rot. What doesn't move rots. It rusts.
Yeah.
Like the metal.
Yeah.
Scorpio. It's a
Sounds
spiritual
true.
sign of the dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think, like, kind of moving away from that, I would think like Leo might have a little bit of narcissistic traits just because they are so like, look at me, but maybe it's not narcissism, it's just like an attention seeking. I don't know. As far as Leo goes, because they're all about wanting to be on the camera and
The problem is, how do you maintain the attention? How do you keep it going? Because the fixed sign, it loves consistency. The sun is always the same, never goes retrograde. Always the same duration in every sign. It wants to be very consistent, very much the same all the time. So it's connected to its attachment to its image. And this is very similar to Capricorn, to the 10th house. And this is also a narcissistic domain, the 10th house, very much so. Because you only get recognition and success if somebody is giving you that success, somebody is giving you that recognition. If you become infamous, if you become notorious, we're going to take it away, the pedestal. So it does get attached to the pedestal. I need to be number one. I need to win the competition. If I don't win the competition, I'm going to be sad. Attachment to the praise, an addiction also.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. There's a lot there. I think we've covered
really
a
cool
lot.
to talk about.
Yeah. We don't want to go too much.
Yeah.
This sounds good to me. Yeah, it was a very good talk. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was good. We'll have to do this again sometime, probably, huh?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it'll be great.
It'll be easier when Mercury's not in detriment, fall, and conjunct the greatest malefic of the worst age ever.
Absolutely. Yes.
Very good. Okay.
Let's do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just aim for it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks, George, for being here. We'll have this posted on our YouTube channel, and then your YouTube channel, if you want to share that information, how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, I will share your information also. If you want to share it with me, I will share that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it will be posted in the description below. All the stuff.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Beautiful day.
Yep. See you.